When people hear the word Linux, the first thing they usually hear right after it is free. Free, as in free download. Free, as in no license key. Free, as in no subscription. Free, as in you don't have to pull out your credit card before you even see the desktop. And on the surface, that sounds like the dream. An operating system that costs nothing, runs on almost anything, and promises control, privacy, and performance. It feels like you're beating the system, like you've discovered some secret backdoor to computing, where you get all the power without paying the toll. But here's the thing nobody really talks about until they've lived with it for a while. Linux looks free. It really does. But the real cost isn't printed on a price tag. It shows up somewhere else entirely. Picture this. You're staring at the download page for a Linux distribution. Ubuntu, Fedora, Mint, Arch, Pop, _OS. Take your pick. There's a big friendly button that says download. No checkout process. No start your free trial. No email required. It feels almost suspicious. You click it, the ISO downloads, and you're already smiling because you just saved yourself a couple $100 compared to a commercial operating system. You flash it to a USB stick, reboot your computer, and suddenly you're in a new world. It feels fast, clean, different. You think, why didn't I do this sooner? The installation finishes, and for a moment everything feels perfect. The desktop looks modern. The apps open quickly. There's no bloatware, screaming for attention. No pre-installed games you didn't ask for. No ads popping up in your start menu. Just a clean system. And you think, this is it. This is freedom. This is what computing should have been all along. But then reality slowly starts tapping you on the shoulder. The first cost shows up in time, not money. Time. Time is the currency Linux quietly charges you. You want to install your favorite software. On another system, you'd open a website, click download, run an installer, and you're done. On Linux, sometimes it's just as easy, sure. There's a software store, there are repositories, there are packages. But sometimes it isn't. Sometimes the app isn't in your repo. Sometimes the version is outdated. Sometimes the instructions say build from source. Suddenly you're reading terminal commands you barely understand, copying and pasting lines, hoping nothing breaks. 10 minutes turns into 30. 30 turns into an hour. You're not using your computer anymore. You're maintaining it. Then comes hardware. Maybe your Wi-Fi card works out of the box. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe your printer is supported. Maybe it needs a weird driver from a forum post written 7 years ago. Maybe your graphics card works great with open drivers. Maybe you need proprietary ones that don't quite cooperate with the latest kernel. You didn't pay money, but now you're paying in troubleshooting, searching, reading, testing, rebooting. That free install just cost you an entire evening. And if you're new, the learning curve hits hard. Linux has its own language, package managers, kernels, permissions, pseudo repositories, systemed Wayland, Xorg, Flatpak, Snap, ApeImage. It's like being dropped into a new country where everyone speaks tech dialect and expects you to keep up. You start Googling everything. How do I install this? Why is this command failing? What does this error even mean? Why can't I just double-click something like I used to? You slowly realize that Linux gives you power, but power comes with responsibility. It's like being handed the keys to a race car without driving lessons. Sure, you can go fast, but you're also more likely to crash. Then there's compatibility. This one surprises a lot of people. You want to use that one piece of software you need for work or school. Maybe it's Adobe Photoshop. Maybe it's Microsoft Office with full feature parity. Maybe it's a niche accounting tool, or some industry-specific app. And suddenly you're in workaround territory. Wine, virtual machines, dual booting, web versions, alternatives that are almost as good but not quite. Each solution has trade-offs, performance hits, missing features, random glitches. So you compromise, or you spend hours tweaking, or you keep another operating system around just for that one app. Free suddenly feels complicated. Gaming used to be the biggest argument against Linux. It's gotten way better, thanks to things like Proton and Steam Deck pushing compatibility forward. Thousands of games just work now, but not all of them. Some anti-cheat systems still break. Some launches fail. Some need launch options and tweaks. Most days it's fine. Some days you're digging through forums at midnight trying to figure out why yesterday's update broke everything. Again, not money, time, frustration, energy. And let's talk about updates. On the surface, Linux updates are amazing. One command or one click, and your entire system updates. Everything. It feels futuristic. But occasionally, something breaks. Maybe a driver doesn't like the new kernel. Maybe your theme glitches. Maybe an extension stops working. Maybe your system boots to a black screen. It doesn't happen every day, but when it does, you're suddenly in recovery mode, Googling commands like a mechanic under the hood of a car you just wanted to drive. With other systems, you're more of a passenger. With Linux, you're the mechanic too. That's part of the deal. There's also the hidden mental cost. Linux invites tinkering. It practically dares you to customize everything. Different desktop environments, different window managers, KDE, GNOME, XFCE, Hyper-V i3, each one promising something better, faster, lighter, prettier. You start hopping between them, distro hopping, reinstalling, tweaking configs, changing themes, editing Dart files. It's fun at first. It feels empowering. But weeks later, you realize you've spent more time perfecting your setup than actually doing the work you bought the computer for. Your system looks incredible, but that video you meant to edit, or that project you meant to finish, is still sitting there untouched. Linux doesn't force you to tinker, but it tempts you constantly. And temptation costs time. There's also support. With a commercial product, you usually have a company to blame. A phone number, a ticket system. Something breaks, you complain, and someone is obligated to help. With Linux, the support is community-driven, and that's beautiful, honestly. Forums, wikis, Reddit threads, Discord servers. Strangers helping strangers for free. But it's also inconsistent. Sometimes you get a perfect answer in 5 minutes. Sometimes you get ignored. Sometimes someone tells you to read the manual like you're wasting their time. You have to learn how to ask questions properly, how to provide logs, how to troubleshoot yourself. You become your own IT department. That's empowering, but also exhausting. And if you're running Linux professionally, there's another layer. Businesses think differently. Time is money. If an employee spends 3 hours fixing a driver issue, that's more expensive than a license fee. If specialized software doesn't run natively, that's lost productivity. If you need custom support, you might end up paying for enterprise distributions anyway. Suddenly Linux isn't free at all. You're paying for support contracts, consultants, and training. In the enterprise world, free often just means pay differently. But here's where it gets interesting. Because all these costs don't mean Linux is bad. Not at all. They mean Linux trades one kind of cost for another. With commercial systems, you pay money and give up some control. With Linux, you keep the money but take on the responsibility. It's like cooking at home versus eating out. Eating out costs cash. Cooking costs time and effort. Both feed you, both have trade-offs. Linux is cooking, and for some people, that's exactly what they want. There's a strange satisfaction in solving your own problems, in understanding how your system works, in knowing that if something breaks, you can actually fix it, instead of waiting for a patch. You start to learn things you never expected to learn. How file systems work, how processes run, how networks connect. You're not just using a computer anymore. You're understanding it. That knowledge is valuable. It's a skill. For developers, sysadmins, engineers, it's practically career fuel. So maybe the time you lose isn't really lost. Maybe it's an investment. But it's still a cost. And that's the honest truth nobody puts on the download page. Linux looks free because there's no bill. But the real bill comes later, paid in hours, patience, and curiosity. If you enjoy that, it feels like a bargain. If you just want your computer to stay out of your way, it can feel like a chore. Some people try Linux for a week and run back, saying it's too complicated. Others fall down the rabbit hole and never leave. The difference isn't intelligence or skill, it's tolerance for friction. It's whether you see problems as obstacles or puzzles. If you love puzzles, Linux feels like a playground. If you hate them, it feels like work. There's also the philosophical cost. Linux is built around freedom. Freedom to modify, redistribute, customize. But freedom means there's no single authority smoothing everything out. Things are fragmented. Different standards, different package formats, different ways of doing the same thing. Choice is great, but too much choice can be overwhelming. You don't just choose an OS. You choose a distro, a desktop environment, a display server, a package system. Every decision has consequences. It's empowering and paralyzing at the same time. Meanwhile, someone on another system just clicked next and got on with their day. So you have to ask yourself what you value more: simplicity or control, convenience or flexibility, paying money or paying effort. Because you always pay something. There's no such thing as free in technology. Only different business models. Some charge dollars. Some charge attention. Some charge your data. Linux often charges your time. But here's the twist. For a lot of people, that trade is worth it. Because what you get back is something hard to price. Ownership, privacy, the feeling that your computer is actually yours. No forced accounts, no hidden telemetry you didn't agree to, no random ads in your operating system, no subscriptions just to keep basic features. That peace of mind matters. So maybe the real question isn't, is Linux free? Maybe it's, what are you willing to pay? If you're willing to learn, to troubleshoot, to experiment, Linux can feel like the best deal in tech history. A system that grows with you, that teaches you, that respects you. If you're not, it can feel like death by 1,000 paper cuts. And that's the reality people rarely spell out. Linux looks free. But the real cost is time, learning, and responsibility. The real price is becoming your own support team. The real fee is the occasional late night fixing something that should have just worked. The real bill is the effort of choice. But in exchange, you get freedom, control, transparency, and sometimes that's worth more than money. So when someone asks, is Linux really free? The honest answer is yes and no. Your wallet stays closed. Your brain opens wide. Your schedule might take a hit, but your understanding grows. And maybe that's the point. Because maybe the real cost isn't something you lose. Maybe it's something you gain. You don't just get an operating system. You get a relationship with your machine. One where you're not just a customer, you're a participant. And that changes everything.